The following program is sponsored by Team Reba of Remax Metro East Side and Eric Osnes of Homebridge Financial Services. Welcome to Open House with Team Reba. Each week, Team Reba will be bringing you a roundup of real estate and mortgage news, along with information about the local Puget Sound region, highlighting some of the best and brightest entertainment options, family events, neighborhood highlights, and local business interviews, so you can feel right at home in the Pacific Northwest.
Welcome once again to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Reba Haas of Team Reba, Remax Metro East Side.
And I'm Eric Osnes from Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage.
And happy Saturday to you
That's
once
right.
again, my friend.
Yeah, beginning of the year. Happy New Year.
I know. It's been wonderful through the holidays, or at least it was for me. I hope it was for everyone else.
You know, this was one of those years where we had the midweek sort of holidays, and I think everybody just kind of took a bunch of time off. At least that's what it was like around my office.
You know, yes, it was 100% true, I think, because we had, we've been trying to do like skeleton crews around the holidays and things like all holidays, like whether it's, Labor Day, Memorial Weekend, just so, our staff, because they work hard, give them an opportunity to
charge their batteries.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody needs to recharge, right? Recharge, reboot, because we've got such busy lives going on in, the Northwest and just in general. And I think they were worried at first that we weren't going to do that. But if anything, everyone got a little bit extra time this year because I was trying to be thoughtful of that and be like, okay, we'll have 2 days off here and you'll have a half day here. And then, it just was nice.
Yeah,
and everybody loved it. They just absolutely loved it.
And now here we go.
Yeah, ready to charge up.
Off.
Ooh, yes.
A busy start already.
Yeah, well, so just going to start off with our listeners, too. I know we started talking about this in December.
Yeah.
But we're starting off, we got leap year this year. And if you want to leap into homeownership, we're doing our Washington State Housing Finance Commission class coming up on Leap Day.
That's right.
February 29th.
That's right. If you want to leap into homeownership, jump onto your web page and info.
That was kind of a lame segue.
Info at teamreba.com or classes.
Teamrebaclasses.com.
Teamrebaclasses.com.
Clear as mud what you just said there, yes.
As usual, precise and to the point.
100%.
As always.
Yes, like you singing Tagalog. Yes.
Oh, well, now I got to explain that.
No, you don't, because you sing Norwegian all the time.
You were at a holiday party for us, and I think instead of singing my usual Norwegian songs, Teven, Skadu, like that, I was singing Tagalog.
Yeah, which I thought was very cool.
And I made everybody laugh. Because I butchered it bad.
But you also impressed some people, including me, because I had no idea you could even do that. So and I can't. So I credit you immensely that you were up there and just doing it.
Just don't ask me to translate it because I'm about maybe 50%.
Yeah.
So, but I'm giving it the college try.
I'll just give you and your brother Lance credit for the fact that embarrassment is not typically a thing you care about.
Yeah,
so you just, and I love it because it just means like at that holiday function, it just means that more people are open to being involved because most people are too worried, especially doing karaoke, of getting embarrassed.
Right.
And
you just got to get over that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's certain things you can do that will help you get over that. For me, it's a nice Merlot. I don't know what it is for everybody else, but that certainly works for me.
Nice.
But I got to tell you one other story. On Christmas Day, my niece gave me a year ago a ridiculous outfit, which is a full-size...
You mean Sarah?
Yes, a full-size...
We can say her name. She's been on the show.
Green elf jumpsuit, one-piece thing with the elf hat. And I look ridiculous.
I'm sure you were stunning.
I thought I would wear it just to impress little Ben. Ben just turned 3 years old, my nephew's son, and he's so cute.
Yeah, grandnephew, I guess.
So I packed a change of clothes and in the car so I wouldn't have to wear this obnoxious outfit all day long. I got clear up to my brother's house on Camino Island, wearing my elf outfit. Ben was suitably impressed with that. He thought that was pretty awesome.
Suitably impressed with your suit, yes.
So then I went to change out of that into some regular clothes and realized that the person I had traveled up to Camino Island with ditched them back at my house.
On purpose?
On purpose. So I was stuck wearing this horrible outfit for the entire day.
I love her.
Now, I will get her. I will get her back. So,
all right. If she's listening, then I guess she's been warned.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All right. Well, speaking of ridiculousness, how are the rates doing? Are they ridiculous? Or are we doing well?
We're
they well suited?
We're doing well.
Okay.
But we are
Explain.
We are stuck in a waiting game at
Okay.
this point. So there are times when domestic economic events affect our rates. The big fear factor is inflation, and good news is usually bad. When the economy is booming, jobs are being created, unemployment is low, that will cause rates to rise.
Yeah.
The reverse is also true, and our economy is strong. It's much stronger than anyone thought it would be at this point. We're almost 10 years into an economic expansion at this point. However, we have international events that will weigh on the markets, and especially on the stock market. The big one, of course, is Iran. So the bond markets are really, at this point, somewhat in a waiting game, sort of watching to see what will happen. At this point, our markets have remained flat. We haven't really seen a ton of change. Bonds drive mortgage rates. The bond market will run opposite of the stock market. Sometimes when bad events happen, overseas, we get what's called flight to quality, to safety investing, where foreign investors will buy our bonds as the safest haven in the world, which could cause our rates to fall. It's supply and demand.
Right.
So it hasn't happened quite yet. Bonds are remaining fairly stable. If we see the stock market fall, we'll see rates drop kind of right along with that. But I also caution people, we're not going to see rates go ridiculously low unless we are in a full-on recession.
Yeah, because they'd already been close to where we were at the lowest during the housing crisis.
Yeah, within 0.5%.
Yeah, it would be ridiculous to think like, oh yeah, it's going to get down to 1. No, it doesn't.
They really won't. And the other reason for that is just the nature of mortgage securities, mortgage-backed securities. Most of your loans, once you sign on your dotted line, the note, the loan behind that is sold to secondary market, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. There's private ones as well. Those become
with more and more of those kicking back in.
It is, that's coming back. These are what are called pass-through certificates. So if an investor buys a mortgage-backed security, every month, as the folks in the pool of mortgages make their payments, the investor gets some of their principal and they get their interest.
Yep.
Well, if a bunch of people refinance, they get principal back early.
Right.
And they don't like that.
Yeah.
Because then, how long is this investment going to last? I don't know. What's my interest rate? I don't know. It depends on how long the investment sticks around.
Right.
As a consequence, you reach a point where rates get low to a level, they just don't really go much lower. So I think we've still got a little bit of room to go down, but it's not going to be like, we're not going to be in the twos or something like that.
But in general, what we've been saying for the last several months and what we've been showing, and people can go back to our past shows, as most of them all know, if you want to go re-listen to our shows, we are on podcast. You can find us either on my blog or on podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, any of those, Buzzsprout. And you can go and compare these,
Absolutely.
right? You can go and compare from the shows like what we've talked about, but we have been sub 4 for quite some time
That's
now.
right. But listen to about a year ago, we were pushing 5.
Right. And that's why everything picked back up in our market recently.
Right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So here's where we're at today. The national average for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.69%.
There you go.
15-year fixed rates are about 3.34%. FHA and VA are sitting around 3.33%.
Nice.
And jumbo loans, which anything above right around $752,000 right now, we're sitting around 3.78%. They're fantastic.
Phenomenal.
They really are right now.
So the jumbos are sub 4 also,
yeah,
right?
They sure solidly.
Because they were at like 4.5 last year at least.
That's absolutely right.
So that's a phenomenal savings for people. So if you're out looking right now, be cognizant of what's happening. Be aware that these are great rates. They're not to be guaranteed over the next. Because I still have people. This is what's killing me. I have people who keep saying, "Oh, I'm watching prices drop." I'm like, no, you're not. We have shown time and time again, prices are still increasing here.
That's right.
It's whether or not a seller overshot their asking price, because we still have the seller fallacy of like, I can ask for this like uniquely high price and get it, and no, you can't. Doesn't mean that the values are dropping. And in fact, actually, there was an article in Seattle Times that we shared on my Facebook page recently that said in the last 3 months, from October through December here in the Northwest Multiple, that housing
was
prices
cooking.
were were sailing right along, and our inventory is really tight right now.
It's skinny.
Super tight.
Yeah, the press is
And
finally
it was
starting
like,
to pick
we're
up
waiting.
on all of that.
Yeah, including the story that you brought, which made me laugh. I already rolled my eyes till they almost fell out my head. Tell our listeners what this article is that you brought
this
in.
is a sort of a late to the game article that just came out saying some of the hottest new neighborhoods are Burien and White Center.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Oh,
jeez.
I hadn't noticed.
Huh. Yeah, not for about 5 years, right?
Well, and you know the thing that I said as soon as you handed this article, even our guest heard me say this, I was like, you know what? What it means is that whoever wrote this article had a friend who moved to these areas that they would never normally go to and went, oh, it's really nice down here.
I know.
I had no idea because I've been talking for years to people who can't afford, Maine, Seattle.
Right.
What about Burien? And they're like,
Isn't that by the airport? Where is that?
Yeah, well, or they're like, ew. And
I got to tell you,
you don't even know what you're talking about.
If you haven't been to Burien lately, go to 152nd Street and
take a cruise.
Just walk or take a cruise and look at all the restaurants,
all
the watering holes. Oh, there's
all
some
the way down past Ambon because the Old Town area is
Burien.
so adorable. There's some of my favorite restaurants and one of my favorite little tiny theaters that you can have cocktails at. The Tin Room.
Yeah.
I mean, love that place.
Yeah.
Smarty Pants actually put a secondary location there. They have the Smarty Pants
Yes, they do.
garage.
Yeah.
And you've got Elliott Bay Brewing.
And they have a Smarty Pants brunch there, too, on Sundays, which is kind of fun.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So,
they've got the
go.
best Bloody Marys, just got to say. But, so there's lots of great stuff going on. And down in White Center and Top Hat, in fact, actually, during the holidays, right around Thanksgiving, we did my annual team meeting, and we went to axe kickers.
Oh, yeah, right.
And we did axe throwing as a group event. I had no idea.
You're only going to get axe throwing in White Center. I just have to.
No, that's not true. There's one in Bellevue, for Christ's sake.
There is?
Yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Bellevue, Capitol Hill.
Oh,
there's
that
one on
makes
Capitol
sense.
Hill.
Well, that's on the
There's
sidewalk.
one.
Yeah, that's just out there in the public.
Stop it. No, these places are super cool, and it was really fun. I had no idea how much fun it was going to be.
Good way to
Our
take
whole
your
team,
aggressions out.
Well,
bring some photographs of your exes.
Oh, I should have done that.
You should have.
Oh,
You
great
would have
idea.
been bullseye. Yeah. Well, enough of that. Let's move on and pay some bills, shall we?
Yes, we shall.
So we're going to take a real quick break. We're going to be right back with
Have
more
our guest.
Open House with Team Reba.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Open House with Team Reba on AM 1590. The Answer. Now, back to Open House with Team Reba.
Welcome back to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Eric Osnes from Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage.
And I'm Reba Haas from Team Reba.
And we're here every Saturday from 2 to 3 o'clock bringing you information on real estate and finance.
Yes.
And always want to have on good, exciting, interesting guests.
Yes.
And today's no exception.
Absolutely. We're going to give a quick introduction, but we got a couple other things to still cover. But we have Nella Hawks from the Daffodil Scholarship Foundation with us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
to talk, not nod.
Yes, it's not a visual format
right.
here.
Yeah, that's right.
But I will tell you, we're very excited to have you. I can't wait to talk about the programming. I'll get to that in a minute.
Right,
However, but also for our listeners, if you want to get a repeat on this, we also are still being played on Sundays from 3 to 4 p.m.
That's right.
So if you love something on the show, you want to tell somebody about it and have them listen in, they can either do it there or you can get us on podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
Okay, you had some exciting math to discuss today.
As I geek out on math here.
Yes. Well, no, this is super important because anyone selling starting this year
Yeah.
is impacted by the new excise taxes.
Right, effective now. And how many times in recent history have your taxes gone down? So
Not often,
not
however.
that often.
Yeah, not often. Now, it depends on who you are.
It does. So
whether or not this happens.
Well,
And I
that's-
also want to point out, if we're going to mention excise taxes, also pay attention to what county you're in because there was an increase, I believe, a year ago. San Juan County added 0.5% to their excise. So
Right.
I don't know if that won't be in
I'm
any
going
of
to give
these
you
calculations.
some of the generic numbers here.
We're going to talk about the general ones.
Right, but this is why this is where the math comes in.
Yeah.
So what happened
out,
was
buddy.
up until January 1st, excise tax was 1.78% total on the sales price of your home.
Right.
And the
And
seller pays it typically in Washington State.
Yeah, and the Association of Realtors locally had been continuing to fight that because they've been trying to change that for years.
Right.
And the association kept fighting it, trying to keep it balanced.
Right. Which this change has me a little bit flummoxed. It really does, because here's the new schedule. It's a tiered schedule.
Yeah.
So if your sales price is $500,000 or less, your taxes are going from 1.78 down to 1.1%.
Yeah.
If your sales price is between $500,000 and $1.5 million, your taxes still go down from 1.78 to 1.28. Now that 1.28 is for the amount that's from $500,000 to 1.5 million. So you pay a certain schedule for 500 up to 500. You pay a little slightly higher tax rate for the next million, up from 500,000 to 1.5 million. From 1.5 million to 3 million, there it goes up a little bit. It goes to 2.75% for that next increment. And if your sales price is over 3 million, you're going to pay 3% for anything over 3
I thought there
million.
was a section that was still at 1.78. There's not?
No, there isn't. So this
okay.
is where the math comes in, though, because really the way that works out, I kind of did a big schedule of this. You're going to really be below that 1.78% mark up to a sales price of about 2.4 million. So if you're selling for 2.4 million or less, you're actually paying less in excise taxes than you did last year.
Okay.
I don't get it, but they went down. So that's a good thing. Where does that money go? Guess where it goes. Goes into the general fund.
Yeah, which
That's
also
right.
is what primarily pays for our education.
It does, yeah. And a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, but I just wanted
about
to point
half
that
the
out.
general fund is education. So
Right.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking about selling, you could realize a fairly significant savings, based on this new schedule.
Okay, that's your math.
There you go. There's my math.
This is the math you're doing. But I want to see what. Let me see that.
Oh, sure.
Because I had a different one. Really? I could have sworn there was one that was 1.78 still. Okay.
Yeah, and if anybody's really interested in nerding out on that, I have a real fancy Excel, calculator where you can calculate your own individual excise tax bill.
You know what? This may have changed. There may have been a initial one being discussed that wasn't final, because we had been looking at this
could be.
in the Realtors Association before, and this might have been the final.
There were a few things.
Okay, yeah, because I know they were messing around with it. Okay.
Circulating around.
All right, gotcha.
Right.
All right, so you were going to read that to give people an idea.
Right.
Are you going to give what's going to happen to the person?
Examples?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
If you can
Let me just pull out my trusty HP 12.
Oh, I thought you already had some preset.
Oh no, I do.
Never mind.
I do. So if you, for instance, if you sell a home for, let's say, $600,000, you're going to pay 1.13% in excise taxes, $6,700. You sold a home for $1 million, you're going to pay 1.19%, about $11,900. And the difference is, like on that $1 million sale price, before you would have paid $17,800. So it's a big difference.
I wonder if, because the valuations here, because since April 2012, our housing prices have been growing 8 to 14% a year. They may have made that adjustment because the housing prices have gotten to where they are, and there's no expectation of them going down anytime soon.
Right.
So they may have just thought, let's have like a baseline of what we can already budget from.
Right.
And then,
entirely possible.
Right. So,
entirely
based on
possible.
what the assessor values are across the state.
But you know the stats. I mean, how many homes do you see out there that are selling for over $3 million at this point?
It's a very minor portion of the market.
No, it's not that many.
It's a minor portion.
Yeah. Our sweet spot is still going to be in that, 600
But it's also the people over $3 million are the people who can afford to pay it the most. And that's the thing that people have struggled with, is sometimes people selling these houses that are now valued at $500,000, many times are people who've been in that home for 30 or 40 years, and they have to retire on those funds. And we all live longer, so being able to maximize that is, beneficial.
Right, absolutely.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Did you want to get to the WIDA thing, or do we want to?
Let's skip WIDA and move on to daffodils.
Okay, because we can talk about WIDA next week.
Sure.
And we're not talking cannabis, by the way, anyone who's listening.
No,
that is the
the
Washington Economic Development Association.
The A is not silent.
They have been on our show before. We were just going to mention that they have an event February 5th and 6th. That's all I'm going to say. And we can move on to our lovely guest.
Economic forecasting, which will be interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
maybe I should try and put that on my calendar. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on to our wonderful guest.
Yeah.
So Nella Hawks with the Daffodil Scholarship Foundation. You're the president of the organization, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely thrilled to have you here. So I'm just going to give our listeners a little bit of background, like how you and I kind of came into contact with each other. Many people who listen to our show know that I'm involved in Rainier Yacht Club, which is part of the Grand 14 clubs around the Puget Sound region, ranging from all the way down to Olympia to Everett to Poulsbo, Port Orchard, Bremerton, all these kinds of other areas. And Tacoma Yacht Club is known to host every April a daffodil event. And so I've gone to that in the boating community over the last several years. And now as Rear Commodore, I will be participating in the parade of boats and things that are decorated. But I went to the Women's Interclub Council luncheon that Tacoma put on, and they were highlighting both the Daffodil Festival and the Daffodil Scholarship Foundation, which I didn't even know at the time was a part of this. So can you give our listeners like a little bit of background of both the festival and then how it ties into your scholarship foundation?
Sure. First of all, they are totally separate organizations. The Daffodil Festival was founded in the 1930s. And over the years, the signature event, people are very familiar with the parade and a bunch of beautiful young ladies in yellow dresses and waving and lots of yellow daffodils everywhere.
And I didn't realize how much of Pierce County it actually covered.
Yes, the parade goes to 4 cities,
Yes.
Tacoma, Puyallup, Sumner, and Orting.
Orting, that was the one I couldn't remember the other day. Okay.
4 cities in the same day. It's a big day.
Yes.
So over the years, there is a royalty program, and there are princesses that are selected every fall for the coming festival season. And out of that group of princesses, one of those, they are senior girls from all of the high schools, most of the high schools in Pierce County.
Okay.
One of those girls becomes the queen at a ceremony, and they compete and give speeches, etc. And several members of the Daffodil Festival in the 1970s decided that it would be nice if scholarship money was available for these princesses and for the queen. So they formed a foundation totally separate from the festival. The Daffodil Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we raise money through the year and award scholarships to these girls every spring.
And that has been growing over the years.
Yes, we try.
The number of young ladies that have been
Absolutely.
Participating and benefiting from this.
A story that I heard a while back is when the first parade was going to be put on, there was a man in Tacoma who was going down the street, was involved with forming this parade, and he saw a pretty young lady walking down the street, and he said, "Would you like to be a daffodil queen?" And she was, it turns out that she was a married lady with little kids. But
Did she punch him?
no, she rode in a car, and she was the first daffodil queen. Anyway, from that point forward, they've selected young ladies from the high schools.
Okay.
And so we thought it would be wonderful if we could, increase the number of young ladies participating. So there are most of the high schools in Pierce County participating in the program now.
You're up to how many now?
We have 23 princesses.
Okay.
And out of those 23 girls, one of them is selected the queen.
Okay. All right. So that's a big court.
Yes, it is.
Right there. Because as I was listening at the luncheon, I think it initially started out with like maybe 5 or 7, and then it's just grown and grown and grown. And the thing that was also, and one of the reasons I wanted to highlight this is, there's all these young people who are benefiting from this program, but what I realize is the people who are running it and some of the volunteers who got up and spoke, they've all been there a long time, but the number of people who are involved in it are becoming fewer and fewer, and it's so key that people become aware of what's there so that we keep it going. Because I would hate to see that just disappear when so many young people are really benefiting from these programs.
Yes.
Because that's the whole thing, is getting new volunteers for any kind of organization is always a challenge. So if people don't know about it, then how can you possibly get them there? So we've got that it's grown from like 5 to 23, and we're going to, when we get done with this break that's going to be coming up, if you can give us kind of an idea of like what the young ladies have to go through to qualify for this, because that was the other thing I was super fascinated with, is this isn't a beauty pageant. This is a like being a great person pageant kind of thing. I don't even know how else to describe that. But so we have Nella Hawks, who is the president of the Daffodil Scholarship Foundation, with us. We're going to be talking more about this program when we get back on Open House with Team Reba right after these short messages. Thanks for listening.
Open House with Team Reba on AM 1590. The Answer. Now back to Open House with Team Reba.
Welcome back to Open House with Team Reba. This is Reba Hess from Team Reba, Remax Metro East Side.
And Eric Osnes from Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage. Welcome back indeed.
Yes, and we have with us Nella Hawks, the president of the Daffodil Scholarship Foundation. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so before we went on the break, we were just starting to get into that this is a program where currently 23 young ladies get to benefit from the Scholarship Foundation. But can you tell our listeners, like, what's involved for them? Like, how do they engage in this and then qualify?
Well, as I said, there is one senior girl from most of the high schools in Pierce County, and shortly after the school year starts, the school will start letting the senior girls know that there is a program coming up that they can participate in if they'd like to. And the first program would be a selection of the princess from that school.
Okay.
And there are guidelines. I believe the minimum GPA would be 3.3%.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's changed at all.
Okay.
But each school is responsible for selecting their own princess. So they will have a program, and they will recruit some people from the community to be the judges.
Okay.
And there's a
So the community is very engaged in this.
Yes, right.
That's fantastic. I love it.
And each girl that is wanting to become a princess will give a speech talking about her community and school involvement. And there's a theme to the festival each year, and she will try to build upon that theme. But anyway, the girls are judged by their performance, by their school activities, not at all by their appearance, by how they spoke, and so that's how each school selects their princess.
Right. So it's skill building throughout all of this.
Yes.
So it's showing that they're involved in their education, that they're motivated, that they can be creative as well as persuasive, right? Because that's something that's always very important when you're involved in business over the long term and any ongoing, schooling, of course, right? So, so they all come in, and then how is the queen then chosen out of the ones that the schools have then helped pick as representatives? Well,
the royal court, the whole court becomes final in the fall. Usually by the end of November, all the schools have had their selection, and we have a court of princess candidates.
Okay.
And then in February, there is an event which the festival sponsors called the Promenade, and at that event, each girl receives her tiara and her sash, and she becomes an official princess of the Daffodil Festival.
Okay, so that's coming up. So we're here in January 2020, so that's going to be next month.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So are there judges, or what's the selection process to pick the ultimate queen?
Yeah.
Well, after the promenade, then they get really busy with public appearances, and they do a lot of community service type work.
Okay.
And then there's a selection at the end of March, and that is the Queen's coronation, and that's another night where the girls will all give a speech, and there's judges that are rating each of the girls, and there's about 3 pages of criteria that they're judging them on.
Okay.
And the girl with the highest score becomes the queen.
Oh, excellent.
Now, and part of that, I know you said that they're doing a lot of public events, but they also do a lot of volunteer work, correct?
Yes.
So, because that was one of the things at that luncheon that really blew me away was they mentioned that in 1 year, typically the number of young ladies involved in this will give 7,000 hours or so.
Yeah, I don't have those numbers.
Well, that's what I remember them
Yeah.
saying at
Yeah.
the event, and the whole room. I mean, we had I don't know, several hundred women in that room, and it was like a gasp, like, oh my God. Like
that's
everyone was
significant.
really impressed.
Yeah,
really impressed.
they're very busy, and I know that just a few weeks ago, right before Christmas, the new girls who aren't officially princesses yet, but they were volunteering at the mall, I believe in Tacoma, and they were helping the Salvation Army raise money by wrapping gifts at the mall.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so they've already started to reach out and do some community service.
This is such a great opportunity, for these girls as well, because in high school now you have this requirement that you do some type of a civic project. And would this count towards that, I imagine?
I imagine, yeah.
Well, and the other thing I also really loved about what they were showing over the course of time that this has been happening is also the diversity, right? It's not that it's just the number of schools, but they were mentioning that for the number of positions that there's young ladies from all different kinds of backgrounds, and they said that there were multiple languages spoken among everyone who was involved in the court, and I love that, because you get the families, you get locals, you get folks who've come from other areas, and they're getting so involved in this really wonderful local event that's very, very unique.
Yes.
It's extremely unique, and I mean, I was just saddened only for myself that I didn't really recognize that that's what it was even earlier, right? It's like, for me, it was just like, oh, it's a fun event down at Tacoma, do whatever. And then suddenly I'm like, this is actually really dang cool. So for our listeners, this is going to be kind of a two-part series for us too. We have Nella here with us today, but we're hoping to have someone from the actual festival itself coming and talking about each of the events that they'll have coming up, because it's a multi-month program for all of it, right?
Yes, you had asked me about the parade. There are these other events leading up to the parade, and then the parade itself for the four cities is on Saturday, April 4th. And then after that is the Yacht Club Parade that you're involved in, and there's also a junior parade in the Proctor District in Tacoma for kids only to participate.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah.
the Proctor District is so cute,
Yes,
too.
it is.
Oh, my gosh, I love it down there.
Right.
That's another part that people, if they're from Seattle, if they've never, like you'll say Tacoma and they'll still go back to aroma of Tacoma. And you're like, okay, first of all, that went away a long time ago, for one.
Right.
And if you haven't been to Proctor District, or if you haven't seen Ruston any time lately,
very cool
holy
neighborhoods.
smokes,
Absolutely.
get down there.
Right. I think there's
So
also
cool.
a car show as part of this as well. Classic car show.
That's one of the fundraisers that we have at the foundation. That's a big fundraiser for us. And
There's a lot of listeners to this show who are big car fans. Yeah.
And I know I don't know if I think it was last year's at Griot's Garage in Tacoma. Would it be at the same place this year?
It is going to be at Griot's Garage on Sunday, August 16th, all day. And if they're interested, I'm not sure how much information is on our website yet, but daffodilscholarship.org is our website, and there will be information on there about registering if you want to register a car.
Okay. Excellent.
Well, I'm just going to put in a quick plug here. If you're a car buff and you haven't been to Griot's Garage, it's worth a trip. It is a amazing, really, really cool facility. It's the old Coca-Cola bottling plant in Tacoma that's been converted into this museum for cars, as well as all the Griot products if you own classic cars and things.
Wait, is that cool-looking one that's near the
on
stadium
53rd? It's on 53rd.
It's on 38th Street.
Oh, 38th. Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So
is that the one you could see from I-5?
No, I can't. You
Oh,
can't
okay.
see it from
All right.
I-5.
All right, that's
no.
something else.
It's not too far from Tacoma Mall.
Okay.
And just a really, really cool facility.
Oh,
So
wow.
Definitely worth a trip up there.
Yeah, I'm looking. They've got some things on here saying, August 25th. And there is information on there. And so if you go to the daffodilscholarship.org. Got it.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Excellent. So let's talk about that, because you have a fundraiser coming up as well, don't you? A luncheon?
Yes, we do have a scholarship luncheon every year. It will be Sunday, March 28th.
Yes, that says Saturday, March 28th.
Okay.
Yep.
Saturday, yes. And we, at that luncheon, we award the scholarships to the girls.
Okay.
Excellent.
Did we already say how much the scholarships were?
No.
We haven't talked about that. No, each girl gets $2,000.
That's significant.
Yes,
Fantastic.
that's because 23 of those girls. So that's
That's
a lot of
yes.
money we have to raise every year, and we're
Yes,
just
it is.
we're just a small board. There are 8 of us. 9 of us.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm looking at this. It says that each of them will be awarded a $2,000 scholarship. And the thing is, it's to the post-secondary school of their choice.
Correct. They can use the money at any university, college, or trade school of their choice.
Which I will say, as someone who's on the foundation for Renton Technical College, $2,000 goes a long way.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
For the different programs, and there's 53 different programs. So yeah, anything that they could do with that is phenomenal.
So when I say that we award the scholarships at the luncheon in the spring, we don't actually give them the money.
No, they're just
we give
told-
them a certificate and instructions on how to claim the money, and we actually send the money directly to the school. We don't give it to them so they
that's
can go
great.
shopping or something.
Right. Yeah. There's got to be a
Yes.
a third
Right.
party
You don't want
distancing.
them buying
there.
a set of
Yes.
tires or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Go shopping spree. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. No, I love what this is about. And then, and you've done it for so many years. Like that's a lot of money accumulated over
Yes.
time. And you had originally talked with me about maybe the potential of bringing some of the recipients, because the thing is, you have some of the gals who've benefited from these starting to kind of come back now to help out some, right?
We have 2 members of the Scholarship Foundation who were former royalty and received scholarships, and unfortunately, neither one of them could come. But maybe Judy, when she comes,
Might be able to have some-
might be able to bring
Yeah.
somebody with her. Yes.
Yeah, no, I would love to get an opportunity to chat with them about what having something like this did for them and how it helped move them forward. Because to have that type of support, it's always great to have family support, but even if once you get involved with post-secondary education, like there's a lot going on in your life at that point, because you get into adult land, and depending on if you're living at home or not, there's a lot of other costs associated. So $2,000 can go a long way.
Well, and it's not just the money; it's the experience.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the sooner I think as a society, we need to have more volunteerism.
I'm with you.
Being involved in your community makes you a much better citizen. It makes for better neighborhoods. It makes for
Yes.
less crime. It makes for better education. I mean,
Yeah.
I could go on and on and on with that. But it's being a part of that community and feeling that connection is a huge, huge factor.
Yeah, and I think that's why we resonate with this so much, Nella, because we are both heavy-duty volunteers. I serve on 3 boards myself. I know you serve on boards and have done for
Great.
decades and decades. So we can appreciate and respect everything that goes into what has to be done here. So definitely love it. Okay, so we are coming up on a break here. So I think we're going to get our final thoughts put together so that we can come back, give you some final information, remind people dates, places where they can contact you, and get any final thoughts from you on what you guys are looking for this year coming up, okay? All right, so we're going to be right back with Nella Hawks, the president of the Daffodil Scholarship Foundation. If you want to go check it out, go to daffodilscholarship.org, and we'll be right back in just a few on Open House with Team Reba.
Open House with Team Reba on AM 1580. The Answer. Now, back to Open House with Team Reba.
Welcome back to Open House with Team Reba. I'm Eric Osnes from Homebridge Financial.
And I'm Reba Haas from Team Reba.
And we have Nella Hawks with us. And Nella is the president of the Daffodil Foundation. How'd I do?
Scholarship Foundation, but that's okay.
So, Nella,
It's a scholarship.
no, I'm really, really glad that you joined us on the show
key
today
part.
because, scholarship programs, it's a volunteer-run organization. You've been around for a very, very long period of time and have great success with that. So thank you, for all your work and your service with that.
Yeah, how many years have you been with it?
I've been part of the festival since 1988. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over
And
30
then- and then-
30 years, and at in the last 5 years or so, my focus has been with the foundation rather than with the festival.
Okay.
So,
Sure. Well, I'm sure people are quite thankful of all your time that you spend on that because,
thank you.
like I said before the break, we do a lot of volunteering ourselves, so we can definitely appreciate when people put that much time and effort in.
And I did have a question for you too, because you've got all these queens, the Daffodil Queens,
Princesses
They're
and a queen.
They're volunteering
I can tell you're
throughout
listening.
the year. And who's structuring that? Are they picking activities themselves, or is somebody helping guide them?
The Daffodil Festival schedules their appearances
and all that. Okay.
A lot of organizations in the community, and they know the history, and they know that all they need to do is call the festival and request an appearance by the royal court, and it'll get done generally.
Oh, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if any particular group wanted some type of an appearance or an event, something like it, actually get that arranged. Excellent. Well, it takes a lot of fundraising and commitment to get that done. How do you handle that, the fundraising side of it?
Well, as far as the foundation goes, we have a couple of fundraisers. We have donations that come in from individuals out in the community, from businesses, and we solicit people who have donated in the past. And at this point, we have quite a list of people who are willing to contribute money. They can go, anybody that wants to send funds to support the scholarships can go on to daffodilfestival.org, and there is on there a form that you can fill out to donate money right through the website.
So through the festival as well as the scholarship.
I don't know about the festival, but this is
you said festival.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, so daffodilscholarship.org.
Yes.
There is a button that says donate. You can get on there, and I'm looking at it right now. There's a very simple form to fill out. And then I'm sure people get their receipts so that they can use it for their tax time when they get their tax write-offs and all that kind of good stuff. So, I mean, listeners, basically the point is if you are in support of education and you want to help young people who clearly are doing all the right things to really set themselves up for success. And the way I look at it is, I never got the opportunity to have kids, but I do a lot around education, and it's because I do know that we need to always have a good, well-educated workforce and next set of generation of people who are going to be, bringing along the generations after them. And, anytime you have an opportunity to help somebody get a leg up in that arena, I mean, why not? I'm doing some of my own estate planning right now, and I'm setting up who I'm going to be, and some of them are educational organizations with scholarships involved. And it's because I may not know the people, but the thing is we talk about this on the show all the time. It's about a community coming together to keep a community strong and developed, and it's good economies and people that are here that make this such a wonderful place to live. Right?
That's right. I wanted to also point out that any money that is donated to the foundation is fully tax deductible. We are a 501c3. We have very, very minimal expenses. So almost 100% of the money that you would donate goes towards scholarships.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people are really, really scrutinizing nowadays.
Yes. That's really rare.
Yeah.
It's really rare to see any nonprofit that can donate the majority of the funds towards the actual purpose of the nonprofit. So that's awesome.
We have no paid staff. We all donate our time and a lot of our resources. So yes, it's money that's, if you're donating money for scholarships, that's where the money's going.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, just for you gave this to us just as an anecdote before we got on here. One of the things I actually kind of enjoyed was that you mentioned a past life for you was as what's called an LPO, or licensed
limited
practice officer. Pardon me.
Right.
And to me, so that means basically escrow,
correct,
right, in the real estate industry. And I have a bunch of friends of mine who are also, past LPOs as well, and some of them paralegals. And frankly, I love hanging out with people like that because usually they're just as nerdy as I am. They're really tight about the details, and so it's like it makes life so much better when you can count on someone like that.
Yeah, if you want to mess with them, give them something to do and say, "I need that done in about 3 minutes." Can you? That's the life of an LPO.
We are used to that. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that probably makes you very well suited to doing something like this.
Yeah,
But
right.
it also means you're really watching the accounting, right? I mean,
Yes.
I feel like anyone who has to have worked in an industry like ours, they're really paying super close attention, because we joke on this show all the time. We were mentioning it before we got on air, the whole thing around TRID, which is, we always joke, the reason I drink, but the Truth in Lending Act, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, integrated disclosures, like the LPOs of the world are the ones who have to really deal with that. And it's very strict, and there's a whole lot of, obligations and requirements around that. So
Yes.
I look at people who are that detail oriented, and you put them in another capacity, I'm like, that's the people I want to hang out with and support, because I know that they're taking those same skills here.
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely.
So big fan of it.
Oh, that's great.
Okay,
Well,
so let's make sure we give some of those dates of those events and such again, because we're getting close to the end of our time, and I want to make sure we get all of those back out there, because we talked about quite a few. So we have the luncheon that's coming up.
The luncheon is Saturday, March 28th at the Emerald Queen Casino Event Center in Fife.
Okay.
And if they are interested, again, they can contact us through the website,
Okay.
and somebody will get back to them.
Okay, and then there's the parade day.
Parade Day is Saturday, April 4th. It starts in Tacoma about 10 in the morning and ends in Orting. And I believe the Orting Parade starts around 5.
Okay, and then you have the car show.
Yes, the Foundation Car Show is Sunday, actually, August 16th.
Okay, so we've got spring and